I think I should start this video with an apology to Sheffield Wednesday, to Charlton Athletic, to Hull City, to Preston North End. I could go on. It's fair to say I had a shocking week when it came to predictions in the EFL Championship this weekend. Anyway, we're here to talk about the drama in the second tier. Guys, if you went to a game over the weekend, feel free to share your thoughts. Feel free to let me know how you got on with your predictions, if you did some predictions. I will say, I did get a couple right, by the way. I said Middlesbrough would win 2-1 and Birmingham would win 1-0. I was helped out by late goals in both of those games, but the less said the better. Before we get into this video, do make sure you've dropped a like. It takes 2 seconds, and make sure you are subscribed. Go on, get involved. It's free to subscribe. And just before we talk about yesterday's championship action, let's talk about Match Bingo. Thank you once again to Match Bingo for sponsoring the MATTSB channel. Match Bingo is a fantastic football bingo app, which you can play right now if you download the link in the description. As you can see, I am playing in the Arsenal versus Manchester City game later on, which is £2 to enter, and there's cash prizes of up to £250 up for grabs. So make sure to get involved, scan the QR code or click the link in the description to play Match Bingo with me. And let's get into the championship table, where Middlesbrough are still top, and they've opened up a bit of a gap, haven't they? Positive results do breed more positive results, don't they? And I think I am getting on board with the Middlesbrough train right now. As I say, I did predict Middlesbrough to win this game 2-1, so I got it spot on. They took the lead through Strelic, who I think is going to be really good this season. Edmundson picked up a nasty black eye, so I hope he's okay. Great second goal, great team goal finished off by Sen there to put Borough 2-0 up, and West Brom did pull one back right at the end. But Rob Edwards and the fans, they are really in that honeymoon phase at the minute. What's going to come after the honeymoon phase? Are they going to go on and have a long, successful, happy marriage? Maybe Middlesbrough will get top 2 this season. It feels like the opportunity is there. Or will things maybe regress to the mean? Possibly, but it looks like the numbers are backing up that Middlesbrough should be winning a lot of these games, and that's what they're doing. So fair play. Borough fans, share your thoughts. Second place are still Stoke City, but I will add the caveat that Bristol City play today against Oxford United, and as long as they don't lose, they will jump into the top 2. For Stoke, it's still good. It's 4 wins out of 6. They're at the magic 2 points per game mark, which will get you top 2, even though we're looking at a very small sample size. We will come on to QPR later, where they are due some credit. The stats do suggest this was a close game, so Stoke City maybe could have got a draw out of it, but look, I'm sure Mark Robbins will pick them up and they'll go again. There's still lots of positivity around the place. If you're a Stoke fan that went to the game down at Loftus Road, do share your thoughts. We'll skip past Bristol City. I've predicted them to beat Oxford United, and as long as they don't lose, they will go up to second. So definitely the opportunity opening up for some of these teams in the table right now, right at the top end. Leicester City in 4th place. Let's talk about them. If you haven't already checked out the match vlog from yesterday, then be sure to do so. I was at the King Power for the M69 derby, but there was no goals. So if you don't want to check out the vlog, fair enough. I thought it was still a good game. It was a good 0-0. It wasn't that one team just wanted a draw. I think both teams went for it. Leicester maybe did shave it if you look at the stats, but I think being in person, it felt very much like an even game, which either team could have won. I do think Leicester City are not at that same level they were 2 years ago under Maresca, but you could argue they had a better team and better circumstances then. I still think they are maybe going under the radar somewhat. I mean, a lot of people have said that their results are better than their performances at the minute, and maybe you can put that down to the quality that they've got in their team, but I do think they will improve. And just look at what's going on at Ipswich and Southampton. Leicester are the best performing relegated team so far, so they're doing something right, but I'm sure they will want to get into that top 2 pretty soon. 5th place, Preston North End. What are you doing up here? Fair play. They've been really, really good, haven't they? And as I said at the start of the video, apologies to Preston because I did not predict them to win at Derby. If it was at Deepdale, I probably would have predicted them to win, but regardless, they won anyway away from home, and things are looking good. Once again, early stages, but a lot of people that had them to get relegated this season will probably be revising those predictions now. That wasn't me, by the way. I did have them to stay up, but who knows? They might be in the top 10 this season, because if you put together a very good home record, which they have got under Paul Heckingbottom, with the odd good result on the road, like this one, you're going to be in the top 10. So yeah, very encouraging. And what a goal, by the way, I must say. 29 minutes in, it was Alfie Devine. What a finish. 6th, Coventry. I'm happy with the draw at Leicester. I am. I think it's a better result for us. We were on the road. They were the favourites. They've just come down. But I don't think there's a lot between the two. That's why I predicted it to be a draw. Going forwards, we weren't as good, but that's to be expected. We're not going to create an XG of 4 every game. Defensively, I thought we were pretty solid. I've seen people making the comment about it being a very mature, organised defensive performance, and I think they're the right words to use. And credit to Carl Rushworth, who's had his best game in a Coventry City shirt. So let's hope that breeds confidence and positivity as we go into the Birmingham game. Just before we get to Birmingham, though, in the table, we find West Bromwich Albion, who were on the end of that 2-1 defeat to Middlesbrough. It's back-to-back defeats now. I'm not majorly concerned, but I am curious to see how they get on against Leicester. It does feel like they've got to get something. And with the home advantage, you'd imagine they'll be wanting to win. I'm not sure about that game, actually. It does feel like there's not a lot to separate some of the teams at the top end of the table so far, but I suppose that's because early on in the season. Speaking of which, Birmingham City, fine margins, but they just about did it with the 1-0 win over Swansea, which is what I predicted, so thank you, Lyndon Dykes. Looked like absolute limbs at St Andrews, so fair play. It gets them back on track, doesn't it, after a couple of away defeats. Next up, though, away to Coventry, and obviously I'm a Coventry fan, but I am curious to get the Birmingham City fans' perspectives on this as we go into that, so do share your thoughts. As for the win over Swansea, it looks like Birmingham did edge this game, and obviously they've edged the result. They are not quite the juggernaut right now that a lot of us expected them to be, but to be fair, if we think back to the start of the League One campaign last season, there was a lot of 1-0, 2-1 wins, 2-0 wins, and, you know, as long as you're winning, that's the main thing, isn't it? But they're not blowing teams away, which might come as a bit of a surprise to some people, given the transfer activity that they've done. There does also appear to be a bit of a disparity between the home and away results. That comes naturally, doesn't it? Most teams are better at home, but I wonder... is that going to be a big thing this season? I think I'm just going to reserve judgment until I've seen them away at Coventry. If I could see them putting in a really good full 90 away at Coventry, then I maybe get a better idea of things. It's still so early on in the season, isn't it? 9th place RQPR, what a win over Stoke City, and what a turnaround. As we said last week, the form since they lost 7-1 to Coventry is incredible. So credit goes to Julian Stefan, and what a goal from Harvey Vale, by the way. I suppose the Stoke City fans might make the joke that this is the only time that Vale will beat Stoke, but as for QPR, I mean, this is an incredible turnaround. Look at them in 9th place, but with a -2 goal difference. I did say this though, didn't I? I said QPR are a streaky team, and then they'll probably win the next 2 and then lose the next 3 after that. So difficult to get a reading on QPR at the moment, but the form right now is red hot. Just below QPR we find Swansea, who, as we just mentioned, lost 1-0 to Birmingham. If they'd have managed to hang on, obviously they would be above Birmingham right now, but I suppose it's sort of swings and roundabouts because they had the late success against Nottingham Forest in midweek, which we haven't actually spoken about. What a crazy game that was. I've enjoyed Swansea so far this season. Obviously gutting for them that they couldn't get anything out of this Birmingham City game, but the early signs are really good that Swansea City are a playoff chasing team, so I wouldn't be too worried. Just below them we find Charlton Athletic, and Charlton, as I say, apologies from me again, because I thought they'd lose quite heavily with Chris Wilder returning to Bramall Lane, but they did a job, didn't they? And you can't say they weren't worth something. I mean, they were pushing towards the end, weren't they? And fair play to the Charlton fans. They went up to Sheffield in their numbers, and it looked like absolute carnage when Alafe got that last-minute goal. So yeah, Charlton, fair play. Nathan Jones doing a job. That's not the last time we're going to hear that this season. 12th place, Pompey. This is the most baffling result, isn't it? Credit to Sheffield Wednesday. We'll come on to them later, but for Portsmouth, I predicted them to win 4-0. I thought, at home to a crisis club, after just picking up a great point on the road at your local rivals, it's got a Portsmouth win written all over it. It's got a 4-0 written all over it, but that wasn't to be the case. And I do remember quite clearly a few Portsmouth fans commenting on my championship prediction saying, oh, you never know with Portsmouth. We're bound to mess it up. And I thought, oh, they're being cynical. You know, that they can't be serious. Well, yeah, they were right. What do I think? Is this a freak result? I think it is. I think Portsmouth do look like a top half team based on the other games this season. You are always going to have a dud. It's a 46 game season. You will have the odd bad result. Look, there's many factors to why Portsmouth lost this. The free kick from Bannon is fantastic. Portsmouth were very wasteful. And then as for the second goal, I mean, we'll come on to Sheffield Wednesday later where we can say they definitely needed to get that goal. But the ethics behind it, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. But as I say, you know, if there's any club that needed a goal, it's Sheffield Wednesday. So there's two sides to that, isn't there? But a lot of football fans would rather see better sportsmanship in that situation, I would imagine. But there you go. Right. Let's move into the bottom half, where at the top of the bottom half we find Hull City, who I am really struggling to predict this season. I'm not getting a proper reading on Hull City. Their results are all over the place, and that's why they're in the middle of the table. I remember when they drew 0-0 with Coventry thinking they are a very good defensive team, and then since then they've been conceding loads of goals, and they couldn't even keep a clean sheet here. But it was a much better defensive performance, albeit for that last-minute Adam Armstrong goal. And to get 3 goals as well against Southampton, this is really, really encouraging for Hull City. And let's not forget they played really well away at Swansea towards the end of the game last week. So definitely signs of improvement from Hull City, which is good. Maybe they're going to be in the playoff race as well. Who knows? 14th Norwich and 15th Wrexham. We could talk about them together because they played each other. For Norwich City, I suppose you could say what goes around comes around, because in this game you'd make the argument they didn't deserve to lose, or the stats suggest they should have got something from this game, and they didn't. And it was the reverse at Coventry last week, wasn't it? Maybe Norwich are more suited to playing defensive football, but I'm sure the Norwich fans wouldn't want me to say that. But, I don't know. I mean, they were poor, weren't they? I mean, some of the goals they gave away. But let's talk about Wrexham. Credit to Wrexham. I mean, this is a massive win, and it relieves the pressure that there has been on Phil Parkinson. I'm not sure how much genuine pressure there is. I mean, obviously there's a lot of outside noise. People are saying, oh, look at him, he's got to go. I'm not sure which sources are true, but these kind of results are definitely going to quieten those kind of reports that Phil Parkinson is under massive pressure. Things are maybe just starting to click for Wrexham. It's still been a very inconsistent start, and I'm not sure when to predict them to win or lose, and they've been better away from home, which is a bit confusing. Defensively as well, they still need to tighten up because they've conceded 2 goals here, and you're not going to win every game 3-2. But there's a lot of players at Wrexham I'm familiar with. Dom Hyam, Callum Doyle, Ben Sheaf, they were all at Coventry, and they're all very good Championship players. And Windass, in particular, from Sheffield Wednesday. What a goal from him. He scored 2 goals in this game. And I don't know, have Wrexham just started to find the formula? Maybe. Maybe we're going to start to see them pushing towards the top half. But they're still very inconsistent at this early stage. Great away win, though. I would say not many teams go to Norwich and win, but this season quite a lot already have. I'm not really getting a reading on Norwich either at this point. 16th, Millwall, we'll skip past them. They play Watford on Monday night. 17th and 18th, Ipswich and Blackburn. Let's talk about their game on Saturday. So, Ipswich had a red card. Greaves was sent off. Blackburn took the lead through Todd Cantwell, former Norwich player of course. And with 10 minutes to go, the referee suspended the game because of the rainfall onto the pitch. And then he went out to inspect it a few minutes later and he abandoned the game. 2 sides to this. First of all, do I think he was right to abandon the game? Yes. If you look at the footage, when he's putting the ball on the pitch, it's dangerous, isn't it? You can't play football when the ball is sticking to the floor and literally not moving when you try and pass it. However, do I think it's fair that this game should be replayed 11 men versus 11 men? No, I really don't. There was 10 minutes to go and Blackburn were winning against 10 men. So I do think if it's replayed 11v11, that is unbelievably harsh on Blackburn. The Ipswich fans might say, well, that's the way it goes, but oh God, I suppose we're going to have to wait and see. We don't actually know what's going to happen just yet. It could be that Blackburn are awarded the 3 points because of how late in the game it was. Another thing worth mentioning is, in the first half, the pitch wasn't so bad, but in the second half, it was quite bad. It's weird that the referee let it go for so long, but then quite near towards the end of the game, he then stopped it. So, you don't help yourself. Look, I really hope it's not that it's replayed 11v11, because I just think it's really harsh on Blackburn. And as for what we did see in the game, obviously the red card affected the game, but it's still not looking great for Ipswich, but they might have been saved if it is replayed 11v11, of course. Right, after that, Southampton. Let's be honest, they've been rubbish. And I backed Southampton to win the league. I'm still standing by the fact they should be pushing for promotion this season, the quality that they've got, but I think Will Still's under pressure. I think he is. That defeat at Hull City is not good enough, especially after a 0-0 against Portsmouth at home. And, you know, look, Portsmouth, Hull, they're not bad teams, but Southampton are a relegated team with quality that we surely agree is better than a lot of teams down at this level. But, I don't know, they're not clicking, are they? So, turn it around quickly or Will Still goes. That's all I've got to say right now. I just don't think... Nothing's encouraging me. They've only picked up one win, and that was against Wrexham in the last minute on the opening day. So Southampton, fix it. You're making me look really silly with my prediction. I did back you to win the league, for heaven's sake. Watford, they haven't played yet. Derby, back to square one with that defeat against Preston. It looked like they had been turning a corner, but once again, can you say swings and roundabouts? Did they deserve the win at West Brom based on the stats? No. Maybe they could have got something out of the Preston game, but they didn't. All of this is pointing towards Derby being somewhere in the bottom half, but towards mid-table, but still early stages to get a proper reading, I must say. And then let's go into the bottom three. Sheffield Wednesday got their first win of the season away at Portsmouth. I am sorry. You have slapped me in the face with my 4-0 Portsmouth prediction, and I am very glad to be wrong. Not that I don't like Portsmouth, I do like Portsmouth, but I'm so happy to see Sheffield Wednesday getting their first win. The first couple games this season were encouraging for Wednesday. When they narrowly lost to Leicester, when they got their first draw at home a couple games in, I was thinking, look, this isn't bad considering all the circumstances. But it did feel like recently, with the 3-0 defeat to Bristol City, that they were losing a bit of fight, and maybe the inevitable is starting to happen, that they're going to get cut adrift. No, what a result. What a great performance, a mature performance from a young set of lads. Barry Bannon, as we all know, is a fantastic player and he's a magician. What a free kick, what a goal to put them in front. And then, like I say, the maturity to hang on in there and then go and kill the game. Now, as I said earlier, I don't necessarily like the ethics behind the second goal with the Pompey player pulling up with an injury and then George Brown running on and scoring to kill the game. However, if there's one club I am going to let away with it, it's Sheffield Wednesday. They need all the help they can get. And look, you know, they're not a charity case. They're not here to give the ball back and be like, look, yeah, do you know what? You have the free kick. Wednesday are going to take every opportunity that comes their way. You can say it's bad sportsmanship, but they need results, and it helped get them this one. And that's the truth of it, isn't it? Portsmouth fans will not want to hear that, but that's the position Sheffield Wednesday are in. And once again, fair play to the Wednesday fans. They went down in their numbers to Fratton Park, probably thinking they're going to lose, and they were treated, so fair play. 23rd, Oxford, we won't touch on them because they play Bristol City on the Sunday. And 24th, Sheffield United. Not quite the homecoming Chris Wilder was hoping for. I think Chris Wilder's got his work cut out for him here. I know it's a similar set of lads that he guided to third place last season, but oh dearie me, they're down in the dumps, aren't they? You know, the thing with Sheffield United last season is they kept winning, and that breeds positivity and momentum, and then you keep winning and you keep winning and you keep winning, whereas it's the reverse right now. They can't help but lose. Could they have got something from this Charlton game? Absolutely, but you know, when things aren't going for you, a late goal will go in like that. So not great. As I say, I still think Chris Wilder will turn it around. Look at the quality they've got on display here, but it's going to take a lot of hard work to get them moving up the table. So then, that wraps up today's video. Do feel free to share your thoughts down below on all of the latest happenings in the Championship. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and check out the QR code or the link in the description to download Match Bingo. Thank you for watching, guys. Take care. Peace out.